me send a minimum of 10 grand at a time. So.
All right. Microsoft and AMD. It's not going to come out till like 7 minutes, so.
No.
But I am live. So.
Yeah, I just deposited 100 grand. Hey, try to screw up.
All right. Oh shoot, I forgot to pop out the chat. Let me go ahead and bring it out. What's up? Good afternoon. It's 12:53 p.m. here in Arizona. To all those in the West Coast, it's about to be, or East Coast, right? 4 p.m. Good job, Nish. Here it goes. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me okay. All right. There we go. AMD, Microsoft both report. Honestly, and Starbucks. SBUX is also reporting earnings after the market closes today. Starbucks' performance has not been the best. Lower highs, lower lows. AMD has been selling off, retracing. We'll see if this begins to really stop the rotation out of big tech. And then Microsoft, one of the most valuable companies that's publicly traded, is pretty oversold, testing oversold levels. We'll see if this thing finally begins to pick up the overall market. So let me know if you guys can hear me and see me okay. We good? Don't mind me. I just have my, I was going to say carne asada fries, but these are birria fries. So even better. Yeah, way to talk about it then. How we doing? What's going through your head this very moment? I want more carne asada french fries. Yeah, that's all.
It's true. Life changing.
Yeah. I'm here with all the guys at the office. You guys, I'll turn the camera around so you can see some of them. There we go. All right. I think that's straight.
LPP 3.0.
Are you recording this at the TechBuds HQ? That is correct. Do not come if you're not invited. Just being straight up with you guys. If you want to come visit, feel free to message me. But please do not be surprised if you are not let in when you do not tell me that you want to come in. So if you're a weirdo, definitely do not come. Really hoping for some good earnings. A lot of people are. Microsoft, all of big tech. I would like to talk about that. All of big tech has been pulling on back. It's presented great opportunity. If you really think about it, it's a really exciting time because markets have pulled on back finally, right? All of 2024, markets were going higher for longer. And finally, markets have pulled back enough that like you could actually buy something for, I don't want to say a fair price, but shoot, way better than what it was, you know, a few months ago or even just a few weeks ago with NVIDIA aggressively making higher highs and higher lows. Microsoft just, it was an unstoppable force. And finally, we've seen some retracement. Microsoft has gone from highs of nearly $470 per share down to lows of $420. At least there's now margin to actually be made. Now people can buy into this dip if the market holds here and then begins to recover. With that being said, if markets do go lower for longer, welcome it. Why are we in such a rush for markets to recover? Let them sell off. Let's take it day by day. We don't have to hold our shorts overnight, but we can short these stocks day by day, just like today. I ended up shorting Tesla by going into Tesla Q. First off, I do not recommend this for beginners. It's a double leverage ETF that does the opposite of what Tesla does. It's actually, well, we'll talk about that another time. But ended up moving 7% today. At its peak, it was up over 10%. So think about that. There's a lot of money to be made. A lot of people complain about, oh no, markets are pulling on back. This is horrible. No, the only people freaking out are those that did not prepare. Everyone knew that the market was extremely overbought. Those that were clever began reducing their position size and prepared for this rotation out of big tech. And now we're able to make money day by day. And I closed out my trade already on Tesla Q. I left myself with my one lucky share. And that's it. And I ended up closing my position very early on as it approached previous highs. I missed a majority of this rally. So I could have made $10,000, $15,000, but just honestly, I had FOMO. I'm not gonna pretend. But I would rather be someone that watches from afar and respects that, okay, we are overbought. Just like when the market was overbought. I respected the market being that overbought that I was like, okay, it's not in my best interest to try to get in at the highest price point. I'm going to wait for the deals to present themselves. And that's, I would say, I would hope that that's the biggest takeaway from you with what we experienced today. If Microsoft sells off, it's, there's extreme volatility that's about to present itself. It's either going to aggressively drop or aggressively gap up. Regardless of what it does, there's going to be money to be made as long as we focus on one thing, and that is market direction. All right. Is my audio, is it a little bit low, the audio? I do apologize for that. If you guys could put up your microphones up a little bit higher, that would be appreciated. I can only do so much. Oh, not your microphones, your speakers. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me, Mike. Is it better now? Audio is fine? Okay. And again, if it's not too much to ask, if you guys could drop a thumbs up, if you guys could subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'd love to answer any questions you guys might have. And you just have to be subscribed to partake in that live chat. So just a quick little heads up on that. Looks like we're pulling on back right before Microsoft is set to report earnings. Remember, the market closes and then Microsoft is going to be reporting earnings. So I'm actually going to share this. We are live on our Instagram. Did we send out more of the trade tracker emails?
There's more going on today.
Yeah. Okay.
And decide
perfect.
what the next.
Yeah, and for all those that are also subscribed to our Trade Tracker newsletter where we track all of the politicians' trades, it is the first link in the description down below. We sent out a newsletter and we send it out every single Monday. For those that just recently subscribed, we're dripping out the email throughout the week. So some people got it yesterday, others will get it today, and the rest will get it tomorrow and so on. But normally it is all at once. But we're using a new server, so it's just something that we have to ease into. And there goes Microsoft. Holy smokes, down 3.7%, 4%. Look at that. AMD up 0.4. Holy smokes, Microsoft is dropping like a rock. Tesla, again, Microsoft has such a large market cap that it will bring the rest of the market down with it if it continues to sell off. Let's see if this is a fake out. Let's see if the market continues to sell off. There it goes. Microsoft still testing lows, down 4.2% on the day. There it goes. More selling pressure. Down 7%. Do you guys understand that? It being down 7% at 3.1 trillion. What are we talking about? We're talking about $21 billion wiped, right? Let's see. Let's see. No, we're talking about $210 billion, not 21 billion, 210 billion. It's down 7%, lower lows, lower highs, more selling pressure. I can reassure you that if this is selling off, the rest of big tech is not liking it. Look at that. Aftermarket hours, TQQQ is down 2.68%. Holy smokes. SQQQ has to be killing it. Not only did it lose 4% during normal trading hours, it lost an additional 2.7%, and that's all thanks to Microsoft as of right now. What else do we have here? Yep, SQQQ up 2.44%. Congrats to all of the bulls. The bears know when to take profits. Just a friendly reminder, right? If you're seeing lack of progress and it's extremely overbought, know when not to be greedy. There it goes. NASDAQ market is down an additional 1% after already being down 1.37% during normal trading hours. Do you guys see that? Holy smokes. How do you guys feel about this? Markets are dropping. Who's still in SQQQ? Who's shorting the market right now? My goodness. Where's Nvidia at? I got to check on that bad boy. Oh, 2.2% down. It lost 7% during normal trading hours and lost an additional 2% after market hours. Nvidia has lost nearly 10% of its market cap just today. Think about that. What was it trading at then? At 2%, it was probably trading at $2.7 trillion. Now it's trading at 2.5. Hey, more money than I have, no question about that, but losing $250 billion in just, what, 8 hours? You gotta love it. This AI bubble, no one liked to talk about it because Nvidia was so bullish. This is why it's a great reminder to not be greedy at overbought levels. Any stock, anything, when it has exponential growth within a short period of time, it's not an if the market will pull back. It's not an if the stock will pull on back. It's a when. It's always a when. And I can't stress that enough. You buying at all-time highs, that's the position that you chose to put yourself in. Now this is what we were waiting for. Nvidia to sell off. Lower lows to happen. This is not good for big tech because Microsoft is setting the sentiment for the rest. You have to think about this. Apple and Amazon are set to report earnings this Thursday. Meta reports tomorrow after the market closes. So when you think that this is bad, things can 100% get worse. I'm not saying that they will. I'm saying that they can. You can't be surprised for things to possibly not get worse. Holy smoke, 7% in the red. I almost want to buy the dip. I feel so bad for Microsoft, but there's so much selling pressure. No, I'm not buying that. 12K and still holding my short on Nvidia. I like that. Congrats to our boy Yadel. Would you buy Amazon stock right now? And again, no shade to you, and I'm just using this as an example. If Amazon is about to report earnings this Thursday, do you think it's a smart idea? Do you think it's a safe idea to buy Amazon stock before it reports earnings, seeing what's happening with Microsoft right now? Do you think it's a safe position to put myself in? Now, nothing is guaranteed, but do you think it's safe? Right? The whole point is to learn not just from our own trades, but to see what is happening with the market for those that took advantage of buying the dip on Microsoft. But then guess what? The cheap can get cheaper. I'm not here to pretend like, oh yeah, Amazon's going to sell off on Thursday. I don't know, right? I can't predict the future. You can't either. But based off of what we're seeing right now, there is so much selling pressure in this market. And if it continues and market sentiment continues to be bearish, then guess what? Tomorrow, we have the FOMC rate decision. The Federal Reserve is going to decide if they're going to be raising, pausing, or cutting interest rates. They're probably going to pause. With that being said, how's the market going to react? Are we just going to naturally recover? And then on Thursday, Apple and Amazon, $2 trillion companies, are going to be reporting earnings. How can that add to more selling pressure? Is it possible? 100%. Remember, it's not about what you don't know that you should trade off of. It's what you do know. And it's I know that there will be more exposure to risk if I choose to buy Amazon early. And I get it. Amazon is cheap, but the cheap can always get cheaper. And again, I hope that you can see with the way that I'm trying to talk to you about it. It's not in a discouraging way. It's not to make fun of you or your question. It's just to bring light to, I want you to have an understanding on the why. Why it might not be the safest idea to buy Amazon before it reports earnings. Amazon is down an additional 3.7% right after Microsoft reporting earnings. I've said this once and I'll say it again. This is why it's so important to pay attention to big tech, because Amazon didn't report earnings right now, yet it is still down almost 4%. This is the influence that trillion-dollar companies have on one another, especially when the first ones start reporting earnings. They set the tone for everyone else. And as of right now, there is fear being injected into the market. I can reassure you that tomorrow, when the market opens, the VIX index is going to be high because volatility and fear is going to be at highs, right? A lot of people are going to be scared of, oh crap, Microsoft didn't report good earnings. So maybe maybe Amazon and Apple are set for failure as well. Maybe we want to play it a little bit safe. Maybe we'll start selling leading up to it. So again, it's going to be very exciting just to watch, right? For all those that are beginners that you're like, man, this seems like very overwhelming. Just watch the market. Like, how cool is this? We are watching a company that's one of the most valuable companies that's publicly traded lose 7%. Do you guys know the statistic that the average market rate of return on average for the S&P 500 for the past 40 years is 7% per year? Now we are seeing Microsoft lose that in literally 8 minutes. That's so cool. Is that not? And this is all something that you have access to without you actually having to take a trade, right? You can see the lows, you can see the highs, and try to understand the why. Why is it selling off? Well, again, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Microsoft reporting earnings, we can update it right on over here. And we can see that not only did it beat its earnings per share, but it also beat its revenue. So it exceeded expectation for earnings per share, but it also exceeded revenue. My guess is that its guidance is off. So let's go ahead and look into it. I can pull it up in just a bit on why Microsoft is actively selling off, because the actual earning report, and this you'll see it all the time. This market's rigged. How does the stock beat expectation, but the stock still drops? Guidance. If you're surprised by that, you're just oblivious to the obvious in this market. I've said it so many times. The first part is the earning report, because this tracks how the company did in the previous quarter. But what's very important, and sometimes more important to current and new investors, not just that the company did good in the past, but that it has plans to do even better in the future. That's the only thing that's going to really entice an investor to want to continue to invest and stay invested in that company, or maybe more. But I can reassure you that maybe something that Microsoft disclosed in their earnings is not something that is very encouraging for up-and-coming investors or for current investors. So let's see what we have here. Look at that. Tesla Q is up 2.4% after market hours. Oh, my FOMO is here. No question about it. And as you can see, I have no open position on Amazon. I have no open position on Microsoft. You might be like, dude, this guy's on crack. Why is he so excited? I don't know. I guess it's just something that is of interest to me. I love seeing this stuff. I love paying attention to it. I love seeing the volatility. I see it as great opportunity, especially when you're cash. Because if you really think about it, if you're cash right now, you might not be making money, but guess what? Tomorrow when the market opens up and things are a little bit more settled, a little bit more clear, as long as direction is clear, I have the option of buying Microsoft at a 7% discount. And if I think it's going to recover, then I can trade based off of that. Or if I think that Microsoft can continue to sell off, then I can short based off of that. So it's not about just every, candle that it moves, I need to take part of that. It's also important to understand that, great things come to those that wait, and it pays to be patient in this market. And that's something that I know a lot of you guys need to learn, right? Learn how to stay cash, especially during uncertain times. Yeah, you might miss out on money, but you also don't gain all of that exposure to risk. In my opinion, Meta presents a great opportunity. Yeah, I think a lot of these do. Meta reports earnings tomorrow. It is down 3.3%. It's set to report earnings tomorrow, but Meta has been showing signs of lower highs and lower lows. I hope that Meta can kind of for the sake of big tech, honestly, I don't care. Because if Meta sells off even more, I'd honestly be pretty excited. Because I can buy them at cheaper prices. I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you guys. That's how I think of it. If Meta does crash a little bit more, eventually they're going to find support. My job is just to wait. Wait for them to show signs of support. Wait for them to show signs of recovery, and then take advantage of the opportunity. I don't need to predict. You don't need to predict. We can't predict, right? Nonetheless, I know a lot of investors love moments like this because they don't like to trade every day, and I respect that. But anytime that stocks sell off it's not that they need to make money right away, but they love buying into these dips. They love to buy when everyone else is selling due to fear, because their intention is not to make money now or a few weeks from now or even maybe a few months. It's years down the road. And if they believe that Meta is in the same trajectory of continuing to show signs of higher highs and higher lows, and they can buy it at a discount, it makes more sense to buy Meta now than it was 3 weeks ago. It is literally a different, you're getting it at a discount. Let's go ahead and check this out. What's the discount for Meta? Meta's discount right now is 17%. Not bad, right? And especially if you're a very wealthy individual, and you could potentially make a 20% return if it begins to recover over a long period of time. That's just a previous highs. And if you have intentions that you think Meta's going to go back even higher, that's why the rich get richer, right? They buy during distressed times because they could tolerate the times that the markets or stocks will take for them to actually recover. While most of us overcomplicate it. We overwhelm ourselves with minute volatility. We're eager to make money right away. And when it doesn't happen due to our instant gratification mentality, we cut losses, say the market's rigged, and we move on. But again, this market's not for everyone. No reason to pretend like it is. But I love it. All right. Is there any last minute questions that I can answer for you guys before we close it out? What did you guys think about the live stream? Is it okay? What was AMD's earning? Oh, very good. Okay. AMD, is it just me, or has AMD not come out? Yeah, I don't think AMD has come out just yet. Sometimes companies report 15, 30 minutes after the market closes as well. My fries are getting cold, so I'm eager to get off this live stream. Look at this. We got their birria carne asada fries. And then I have some churros too. And don't worry guys, healthiest man alive. I have a cherry coke. Man, this looks horrible. I'm like eating super unhealthy, but
that's health. This is what health looks like.
Health is wealth. Looks like a heart attack on a plane. Don't worry. I'll make it up with all the running I do.
Damn, what's the bag? True in the piece.
Why is Meta down? The influence that other big tech companies have on other companies is something that you need to understand. So it sounds to me that you're maybe a little bit newer to the market. Microsoft reported earnings. Microsoft has a $3.1 trillion market cap. And I want you to understand this just very clearly. There's these major markets, these major indexes. You might know them as the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. They're basket of companies. So in the NASDAQ, it mainly focuses on big tech. And depending on its weight that an individual stock has on NASDAQ will also determine how much fluctuation there is. The same thing when it comes down to S&P 500, the top 500 most valuable companies, supposedly. And depending on who makes up the larger piece of the pie for each one of those baskets of of indexes will determine how much influence it has to the other industries, right, or the other stocks. The thing that I want you to understand is that if the concern that Microsoft is sharing is something that can be viewed, that could be a future concern for something like Meta or for something like Google or for something like Amazon and Apple that are about to report earnings, that fear is going to get passed on over to other tech companies that have yet to report earnings. Because again, if it affects this big tech company, who says that it's not to affect Apple and Amazon that are yet to report earnings, or Meta that's supposed to report earnings as soon as tomorrow? So again, if Microsoft would have excelled and would have gapped up and there was high expectation, high growth guidance for Microsoft, and that could have been passed over to Meta and Apple and Amazon as well. When it's all good, a lot of them thrive. When it's all bad, a lot of them get affected. So it's just good to understand that correlation. But as of right now, it looks like we might be finding our bottom. still a descending pattern. Looks like we might be forming a lower high here on the technical side. Amazon trying to form signs of a reversal. Again, money to be made here. So you didn't have to predict the future because we couldn't have predicted that Amazon would have sold off. But like we talk about in LPP, there's the 3 stages of a reversal. It sold off, it found and established signs of support. Now it's working on signs of progress on the upside. That's a potential day trade setup, right? And you know exactly how to do it if you're part of LPP on how to trade after market hours. We also have Microsoft. It sold off, establishing support. If it begins to show signs of progress of recovery, then there's money to be made. Remember, they have their earnings report and then they have their earnings call. It's very important to understand that when their executives begin to speak, if they share something that wasn't already released during the earning report, then again, that volatility and that news is going to get injected into the market and the markets will react. So, all right, what else? Brother, look at AMD. Where is it? There it goes. Nice. 2.8% in the green. 3% in the green. The unfortunate part about AMD, and I'm not taking anything away from AMD, AMD is doing its own thing. So it came in better than what it was expected, and its earnings per share came out good, but it looks like it's struggling. It might not hold. This is going to be a pretty crazy concept to kind of wrap around your head. The market cap of $223 billion. Think about this. That's AMD's total market cap. $223 billion. Microsoft, that reported earnings, during the midst of it selling off, I think it was down 8%. It lost 8% of $3.14 trillion. So what Microsoft lost within those first 5 minutes was AMD's total market cap valuation. Isn't that a crazy concept? So yes, although AMD might be doing very well, it won't have as much of an influence to something like Microsoft because its market cap is so significantly less. Not saying that it won't have any influence, it just has less of an influence. But as of right now, Microsoft is already beginning to show signs of recovery. AMD is trying to show signs of higher highs and higher lows. We'll see if it holds. We'll see if it holds into the later hours. Meta, all of it is trying to recover. So again, it might be a good dip buy opportunity, and we'll see how the markets open tomorrow. I love paying attention to these companies when they report earnings. I don't see there to be a need to always trade them, right? I think there's a beautiful thing about watching them, paying attention, asking the why of why it sold off or why it, skyrocketed, but to wait for normal trading hours for the markets to have a little bit more clear sense of direction instead of guesstimating with all this volatility. So at the end of the day, you feel free to do whatever it is that you think is best for you. Make sure that you only put yourself in a position in which you can actually tolerate. If you take a risky trade, you can't be surprised when you earn the loss, right? But just the same way, if you focus and wait for more proper criteria and you stay a little bit more on the conservative side and you make sure that you have all those controlled variables, then again, you're less likely to put yourself in those more vulnerable or exposure to risk positions. So I appreciate you guys tuning on in. I hope you guys enjoyed this little earning live. I'm going to go back to eating my carne asada fries. If you ever have any questions, I hope that you guys can know that you guys can always message me via Discord or via Instagram, and all of that is linked down below. Also, do not forget, if you guys want to subscribe to our free Politician Trade Tracker, it's the first link in the description of this video. If you don't see it, just refresh your screen. The first link in the description of this video will take you to this page. You can fill it out, and we send out a free newsletter every single Monday that will keep you up to date on what the most common politicians are trading in the past 7 days. Also, do not forget, if you guys want to be able to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, by the time the market opens, that's going to be that second link in the description down below. It's LPP, and again, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you'll get to watch me trade live every single day. If you have any questions before signing up, feel free to shoot me a message. If not, I'll see you tomorrow at market open for our live session. We'll see you then. Take care, team.